Hello everyone, Miss Angela here. So today is Wednesday, which means it is our STEM day. So we will today be doing a challenge. I'll be giving you a challenge that I'd like for you guys to complete on your own, and then we will be doing a science experiment. And we'll be talking about some science activities that go along with this science experiment. So let's get started with your challenge. So what you need is a clear cup, you need a gummy worm, and you need a gummy ring. You could do a lifesaver or you could get a gummy ring. Now I was able to find these very easily at the store. I got dollar bags of these, so it was not hard at all to find these. What you also need for this challenge is your choice: 2 large paper clips or 4 small ones. Your choice. Okay? Once we get into this, you might see that having 4 of them might be easier to do the challenge. All right. So, what is this challenge? It is Save Fred. So let me read to you a little story here. Okay? So the story is Fred, the gummy worm, has been spending his time boating on the lake near his home. So this is his boat, this is Fred. He is not too bright because he is a worm after all. He never learned to swim, and he never wears his life preserver. His life preserver is the ring. Okay? The worst has finally happened. Fred's boat has toppled over and he is stuck. His life preserver is caught under the boat, but he cannot reach it without falling into the water and drowning. Can you save Fred? So these are the materials you need to save Fred. So what I put on here is your challenge, the things that you need to do to save Fred. So what you need to do is turn Fred's boat right side up. It's currently upside down. Put Fred back in his boat. Put on Fred's life preserver. Okay, so what that would look like if you are going to do this challenge, okay, put it on, which means he goes through here. Okay, that's what it would look like when he is saved. Okay, you have 3 rules. This is where the challenge comes in. You may only touch the paper clips. You may not touch Fred, the boat, or the life preserver directly with your hands. You can touch them with the paper clips only. Okay? You may not let Fred touch the water, which is whatever your surface you're working on. You need to pretend that is the lake, the water that Fred is on. You cannot let him touch the water. All right, the 3rd rule. You may not injure Fred by spearing him with the end of the paper clip, so he is not to be damaged. You have to figure out a way to pick him up without hurting him, without spearing him, sticking him through with the paper clips. This is your challenge for the STEM activity today. So what I'd like for you to do is do the challenge, figure out how you do it, and then send me videos or pics showing how you've completed this STEM activity. It looks like a real fun one. Okay? So these are the things that you need. The gummy ring, gummy worm, clear cup, which is your boat. Either 4 small paper clips or 2 big ones. Now I have seen where it says you could have 4 big paper clips. However you want to do that to be able to do this activity, this STEM challenge. Okay, so promised you a science experiment. Okay, so what we're going to do today is make our own lava lamps, and I got several of them here just so we can do some pretty involved viewing, but also too we're going to use more than just one thing to get them going. Okay, so what I have here are 3 clear cups. You can use anything clear, glass, vase, whatever it is. Sometimes you see where they use something real long, and it's a kind of a neat way to show this activity. So something you can see. Okay, so for this one, I used a little less than 1/3, maybe 1/4 to 1/3 of water in the bottom. Okay, and then I colored it with food coloring. So that's what that is. There is food coloring at the bottom of these three. But I wanted to show you here vegetable oil. So you pour the vegetable oil on top of the colored water. Okay, right up to about there. Now I waited to show you that because you see here what's going on. You have water at the bottom, you have oil at the top. Are they mixing together? No, they are separating because of the density difference between the oil and the water. Now, if you were to pour both of them simultaneously into a cup, you would start seeing this separation. Firstly, they don't mix, but also too, you wouldn't see the water going to the top and the oil going to the bottom. You always are going to see, the water going to the bottom and the oil going to the top. Why is that? It is because the water is denser than the oil. What does density mean? It is a measure of how much matter occupies a given amount of space. Okay, so you can have something small that is denser than something larger. It is because the amount of matter that's inside of it, or the amount of particles matter that are inside that particular piece of matter. Okay, how much matter something has. Okay, so you'll see here that the separation has just about happened. There are some bubbles here on top. Okay, because they're still doing a little bit of separation. If you look at this, you can see that there are still bubbles floating around a little bit. Okay, these ones have been a little more settled, so they're definitely clearer. Okay, at the bottom of this one, I do have it's a Tums that I thought I would try. You can use Tums, but the Tums that I had here was, it had a coating on it, that's why it didn't work as well. But, so what you need, clear container, oil, vegetable oil, water. You would want to color that water so it makes it easier to see what we're going to do here in just a minute. Okay, so you want to color your water. Let things settle for a minute. And then what you have here, what I put out on our list was antacids. And this is an antacid, okay? It's like an Alka-Seltzer. It's an antacid, but don't fret if you don't have these on hand. These aren't something, I have them, but I do experiments with them. That's the reason why I have them. Some people may have them for the actual use of them is to help with acid reflux. You can also try just a regular Tums, a regular antacid that you might have more on hand, but don't fret if you don't have either one of those things, because we're also going to use salt, and we're going to see how the difference is between these. So let's take our antacid tablets, okay, and I'm going to have 2 going with the antacids just because it's so neat to see. Okay, so I have my antacid tablets, and I'm going to put one, and I'll put one in after, and then I'm going to do salt. Okay, so like I said, don't fret if you don't have these antacid tablets, any on hand. The salt will work too, but I want to see the difference between them. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll drop these in. Okay, and then we'll put the salt in this one. See what happens. All right, so what is going on here is that these antacids are dissolving, okay, and you see the salt's taking a little bit longer. These guys are definitely quicker. The Alka-Seltzers are definitely have a quicker reaction to each other, okay, to the water. But the salt should be, let's see if we can get this salt going here. Yeah, there it goes. It's just a little slower. It's not as big a reaction, but it still happens. It's still going to go. It's still going to work. So you see here, you see the bubbles going? You see there's some bubble action going on here. This one's really going. Let's go ahead and add another antacid to these guys. The salt is thinking about it, isn't it? It's not as well. It doesn't do as well. but you still have a reaction. See that there? There's still bubbles coming up from the salt. So what is happening here? What you have is the things that we put in the water, the antacids and the salt, they're dissolving. So they're breaking up in the water and becoming a part of the water solution. Okay? So that's what's happening there. So the salt isn't as exciting, I'll give you that, but it does have some reaction there. Okay? A little bit, see every so often a bubble comes up, and the colored bubbles, water bubbles, go up, they hit the surface of the oil, they pop, and then the water makes its way back down. You see this? So they go up and they come back down. Okay. And what is releasing from these Alka-Seltzers are, it's a gas, it's carbon dioxide. And it mixes with that, gets with the water, goes up, pops on the surface and goes back down. So the water makes its way back. And that's the thing about water. Water molecules really like each other. They want to be together, so they seek each other out. So this is why you're seeing that action. They go up, and then it's like, wait a minute. The water bubble realizes it's not with its partners there, and it wants to seek its way back. And it's also heavier, denser than that oil, so it makes its way back down to find its other molecule, water molecule buddies down there. Okay? So slowly but surely the salt is, you see that one, can you see that? I can see it, but I don't know if you can. There's one little bubble there that's just floating right there. And there's a couple on the top of the oil water surface. Let's see. Let's try this one more time here. There it goes. It happens, it works, but not as well. So try it with the salt, and then if you have an opportunity to have, like I said, Tums, any sort of an acid, the Alka-Seltzers obviously work really well to give that kind of reaction that you see here versus the salt. Okay? I mean, there's definitely things going on over here. It is just not as fizzy as these guys. So how about one more time here? You can hear it. Hear that? You feel a little bit of that coming off too if you put your hands on there. Now for this one, like I said, it's just a slow process. Not going to feel anything or much at all. Pretty neat. And like I said, most of the stuff hopefully you have on hand at home. Try the salt. Just put the salt in there. And it's, like I said, you have to be a little more patient with that one. But it definitely does have a reaction. It's interesting to watch the surface here. Like there goes one. And you can see in this one, there's a lot of small blue bubbles within the oil there. You can see that? So you see that there? There's a lot of blue bubbles. So it's not as fantastical as these two, but there definitely is a reaction in this one too. Okay? So if you guys are trying this at home, again, I'd be really curious to see how it turns out for you. Go ahead and send pics and videos to our Town Hall Facebook page so we can see what is happening in your experiments at home. So we'll be doing another experiment and another STEM activity next week. Next week's activity actually we'll be doing something together, and it is we'll be building something together. So looking forward to that. That'll be a fun one. All right, friends. Here's our experiment. Save Fred. Let me know how that works out. Take care.